Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to start your Spitfire in DCS. So yeah, let's just get right to it. So first you want to do is make sure that your ailerons is working. Check both wings, you move your joystick sideways. Then you want to make sure that your elevator is working by moving it back and forward. Then your rudder pedals. See if your rudder is working. That should be fine. And yeah, so to start the plane, first you need to turn on the fuel pump, and it's a bit hard to see, but it's located underneath this wheel here. So just click here to turn it on. Then you want to turn on your magnetos, both of them, and your fuel. And you make sure when you set your throttle to first all the way forward, because then you hit this button here that turn on the undercarriage light, and then take your throttle back and put it about just a few inches in the forward position. Then you want to move your propeller RPM all the way forward, and make sure that this mixture lever here is in the backwards position. Then you want to turn on your carburetor filter. It's basically for not getting particles and debris into your engine. So always have this on when you take off and land. And since this plane comes with an external fuel tank beneath the plane, turn the external fuel lever on. And now you want to prime the engine, so right click this one here, hold the right button inside and pull down to open it. Then you want to hold inside the left mouse button and release, and do this 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes when you hit the switch here and the light goes on here, it will always blink, sometimes blink a lamp here and this red here. And if that blinks red, you need to press this pump here, pump it maybe 12 times. That's because the plane doesn't have enough fuel pressure. But I think because I hit this fuel pump here, that after 20 or 30 seconds or something, the plane will have enough fuel pressure. So yeah, we're ready to start the plane. So how to start it? You need to open these two covers here, and this is the booster coil and the starter. And these buttons needs to be pressed and hold inside simultaneously. So you can't click those with your mouse. Well, you can click it, but you can't hit both at the same time, you know. So you need to map them to your keyboard or joystick. And as you press these two buttons inside, you will see that the propeller will start moving and the engine will start to spider. And as it starts to spider, then you click on the mixture control to the forward position. And when it goes to the forward position, then you can release these two buttons and the engine should start. So let's try that now. Oh yeah, before I do that, forgot one thing important. Turn on your brakes, because or else your plane will move forward. And you can see here there's the brake pressure. When I take it down and up, you see the pressure moving here. So yeah, let's start the plane again. Yeah, good start. And now you can make sure that the flaps are working. Press here, the flaps, and you should see this thing on both wings in the up position. That means that the flaps are down. You can't see the flaps now because they're underneath your wing. And you use the flaps for landing because it will basically work as an air brake. There's these two big side panels that goes down underneath your wing. And click the flaps button again to make sure they go up, and when these are down, that means the flaps are up. And now we should test the brakes. so move your throttle to up to 1800 RPMs, and your plane should not move forward. So yeah, that's good. And bring it down to here. And since there's a lot of noise, we can close the canopy by pressing here. Much better. So while I'll go over the instrument and wait a bit, the engine will heat up meanwhile. So the oil temperature will rise, the radiator temperature will rise after a while. And the reason we want to do that is because you don't want to take off before the oil temperature is below 20 degrees. Same with the radiator temperature. It should be over 60 when you take off. Sometimes I take off even if it's a bit below 60, it doesn't matter. I haven't damaged my engine, so you can do that. So yeah, let's go over some of the instruments here. First you have the rudder trim. I never used the rudder trim basically. This is the rudder, and the reason I don't use it because if there's a bit side wind from the direction, you need to alter it. So when you turn your plane around, you constantly have to adjust your rudder trim, so I don't do that. But what I use is elevator trim here, and this is this wheel here. And as I move it back and forward, you can see also this needle here go up and down. And basically, it doesn't tilt your plane up and down when you do it. If you have a force feedback joystick, you will notice that it starts to push your joystick in either direction when you move it up or down, and that's because this is a rotary engine like a propeller. So depending on your RPM levels and boost levels, your plane will tilt and roll in different direction. So instead of constantly like having to push to one side with your joystick, you just adjust the trim level and you can have your joystick in the middle. So you will feel it when you fly. It's a bit hard to explain. So, but the needle should point a bit in the downwards position before takeoff. It's easier that way. And now let's go over some of the navigational systems we have. We have the compass here. It should be aligned with the needle here. So as you can see this white cross here, that's always pointing to the north. And if you left click and drag it, you will align it. But what I usually find is more correct is that if you line it up with these lines here, the west and east lines, the white ones. Because if you line it up with a cross, you will get a bit wrong reading. So line it up with these, and you take a line up, and you see it's 20. And you see this is the directional gyro, and it's on 10, so it's not correct. So left click and drag it up or down to move it, and now it should be correct. Also your altimeters altitude, it says here almost 900 feet, so that's wrong. We're on the ground, so left click it, drag it down to 0 there. So yeah, as you can see, the temperature starts to rise. It's creeping slowly, so creeping up to 60. This is your volts, by the way, your battery, the watt, and it should not be below 13. If it's below 13, you will have a problem starting the engine, and because there's not enough power to the starter. So if you're having problems with that, you can call up the command menu here. You need to find it in your controls, the buttons, and you can click F8 for ground shoe, F2 electric power, and F1 on. And they will give you power to the battery. Here's the radio is pretty cool. If you press B, C, D or A, there's different channels. I don't use it much because I don't fly too much single player. And multiplayer, you don't really use it, you just chat or you get information up in the corners. So I usually turn it off. And there's this for night light to see which channel you're on, and this is for daylight. No, actually this is for day, of course, it's more visible, so it should be in the day position now. But I don't use it that much. I don't know too much about it either. I think this is transmission, this is receive. Because you can have easy radio in the game and simulation radio in the game, and usually every mission or campaign you download comes with easy communication. So you barely don't need radio. It's just for if you have it for simulation reasons. Yeah, so I think I pretty much covered everything. So yeah, I need to close these ones and close this one. And yeah, you have the gun sight here button, click it, and you have your gun sight. You also have here's another button for, or you pull it. It's a tint, or almost like sunglasses. If you have sun in your face and want to shoot a target, easier to see. And you also can adjust the range of your gun sight. Pretty useless, since you basically see what you're shooting at. So I just have it like this because it looks cool, looks more like symmetrical. And you also, either further here, you have a dimmer if it's night, or if it's darker outside, you don't need that strong light. So now you see it's not that bright. You can also map it to your joystick lever if you want. So I have it like this. Pretty cool. So yeah. And on the joystick here you have a safety pin for firing. So when it's I can show you. When it's out, you can fire. When it's inside, it's safe. It also says here, out, fire, in, safe. So yeah, and this, you can't press any buttons with a mouse on this. You have to map it to your keyboard or joystick. So yeah, and you have cannons and machine guns buttons for that, different buttons for that. Those you also need to map to your joystick to shoot. Also, you have the fuel gauge here. If I click it and hold it inside, you'll see if it's at maximum. And it's because it's pressurized based, so it will always be on maximum usually when you fly. When it starts to drop, you have to fly back to your base, because when it starts to drop, it means you have not much fuel left, maybe 10% or something. And then you have maybe 15 to 20 minutes before you're out. So keep watching this, keep pressing it and watch it. Also, you can have a fuel leak after a combat, and you definitely need to check it. Oil pressure needs to be between 60 and 120 here. So if it's below 60, return to your base. You have a oil leak or something wrong with the engine, not enough pressure. As you get more RPMs to the engine and boost, your oil pressure will rise below, usually on the top here. So, but watch this. Very important things to watch all the time is your oil pressure, fuel, and the temperature on the oil and your radiator. Oil temperature should not exceed 90, and the radiator temperature should not exceed 130 or 135. But if it starts to get over here 120, then definitely something is wrong. And you can adjust that by turning on your radiator flaps here. They will open your radiator more. So yeah. Also about the boost and RPM settings, don't fly above 3000 RPMs. It can damage your engine. And if you're flying straight for a long time, have it on maximum 7 boost here, and between 2600 and 2700 RPMs. During combat, I like to have it on 2700 RPMs and between 8 and 12. And usually in the red zone for just 10 or 15 seconds if I want to chase an enemy. And also be gentle with your boost. Never move it faster than this, up and down like this. Don't push it too fast like this here. You can damage your engine if you do that for too much. It's very powerful engine, but it's very sensitive. It's Merlin V12 engine with around 1700 horsepower. So it's pretty sick. Your plane can exceed level. It can fly around 280 miles per hour, but in a dive and such, you can get up to 480 or 500 miles per hour. That's very fast. So the plane can be very fast, and it's very maneuverable, very good in dogfight, very good turn rate. It can out-turn a Messerschmitt. So yeah, I think that's I think I covered pretty much everything in the tutorial now. So yeah, if you have any question, just write it in the comment section below, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.